Hello. Since the last earnings call, which saw Palantir's stock price fall off a cliff and proceed to fall even further, it rebounded 13% on the 24th of February, and this was after Ark Invest and Cathie offloaded every single share practically that they had off Palantir. What on earth was all that about? The stock since has gone up and back down and has held around $11. There's been a couple of pieces of news that we need to look at, with one big contract and also a fundamental indicator that the stock could be on the verge of a breakout back to the upside. Stay tuned for this and more. Keep it simple. Well, where do we begin? Ark Invest at its peak had within all of its Ark ETFs Palantir Stock, and together they equated to around 29 million shares. Today, they have 39 remaining shares in ARKQ and ARKX together. That's less than the shares that I have in one of my little trading accounts. So, when a big position from an institutional investor like that is just liquidated, surely you expect the stock to tank big and other investors to follow suit. Well, not so much Ark Invest. In fact, on the 24th of February, the stock rebounded 13% on the day and has since been trading around the $12 and $11 range. Now, I reckon we're in line for a nice little pop-up to fill the gap between the $12 and $14 range very soon. When we take a look at the institutional ownership, the numbers just keep going up. Oh me, oh my, it's up to 35.42% right now, even with Ark Invest Cathie selling out every single share she basically has. However, we know that that number has not been updated yet, and when it is, this position right here will be vaporized. However, when you look at the other big players, what's been going on here? Vanguard increased their ownership by 6.85% as recorded on Valentine's Day.
I need more. I want more.
Similarly, BlackRock increased and Vanguard increased 8.7%. But then if you scroll further down, most of the big players, they are all adding. And you look at this, the Bank of Montreal Canada increased their position by 600%. Do they smell some blood on their hands? What's impressive, I think, is Vanguard ETF funds are just loading the boats, and increases such as this one of 197% to 7.2 million shares holding. This phenomenon is not just solely reflected in Palantir stock. This has been going on for most of the tech stocks and some of the big tech stocks that I've been looking at. And why is that? Well, to answer that question as to who the hell is selling these shares to these institutions, yet the price keeps going down.
And obviously, but it's just, do you think?
Let's take a look at the short interest. The short interest, as recorded 1 month ago, mid-February, was at 7% according to Fintel. Today, it's at 11.7%. That is big. That is huge. That means a lot of people have taken up short positions on Palantir stock. Why? Why oh why? With the conflict right now happening in Europe and the worsening global situation of COVID-19 and the pandemic, these are all use cases for Palantir moving forward, and probably why the stock has seen a stabilization around this $11 to $12 range, even though Ark Invest totally sold out. So when you look at the dark pool data, this is why together the stock price is being held down, even though we know there's been some significant big boy buying. These are big numbers. You just look at this, 58% being shorted in the dark pools alone. Oh me, oh my. What's more concerning is this. The fails to deliver on Palantir stock are starting to rack up big, and they're racking up big time. Look at this. Since the 8th of February, we have had 101,000, 55,000, 94,000, 35 and 94,000. At this rate, Palantir will be appearing on the threshold securities. Let's say if it does end up there, we are definitely in line for a massive squeeze up. This right here, fresh off the bat from March the 7th on Barron's, Palantir stock is rebounding and Morgan Stanley backed off a bearish call. This is big. This is so big. Look, this guy, Keith Weiss from Morgan Stanley, lifted his rating from underweight to equal weight. So he basically upgraded the stock. But at the same time, he lowered his price target from $24 to $16. $16 at current price still represents a 45% upside. And why did he do that? Does that actually make any sense? No, it makes zero sense. But that's what these analysts do. Even if they are upgrading the stock, they can't seem to be giving out ridiculous price targets, because at the current price of $11, $24 would mean over 2x. And usually, no analyst would put their neck on the line to suggest such a move. When Palantir stock starts to move, that is when these analysts will start upping their price targets. It's just, they're not actually providing any sense of direction. He writes in a research note that the risks of both a slowdown in the company's commercial business and what he considers to be unsustainably high operating margins look priced into the stock already. Basically, he means that the stock has already got to fair value and is unlikely to go any further down, with the shares last week reaching an all-time low valuation on sales multiple basis. Last month, Palantir posted fourth quarter revenues of $433 million, up 34% year over year, and that's even ahead of the company forecast at $480 million. We know all these facts. We know this. And why is he upgrading? Because he wants to take credit for when Palantir stock starts rising, that he actually foreseen some move. And finally, Jacobs. Who are they? They are a massive multinational company with operations worldwide, with annual revenues of $14 billion. So they are no small chicken at all.
What if we showed you how?
And what have they just done? They have just entered into a global strategic partnership for data solutions with Palantir. Holy smokes. This will target data and technology solutions for the infrastructure and national security markets. Is there any surprise to you that companies like Jacobs, who to me are like the birth child of an umbrella corporation from the Resident Evil saga, Palantir themselves will be intertwining very soon with such a company? The near-term focus of this relationship is the water sector, so they're going to be starting out with the water provisions, a critical enabling infrastructure, and involves the launch of a joint data analytics offering to support the public and private sector clients in solving their most complex water infrastructure problems. So these problems are so complex that they need Palantir to both store the data and provide the AI analytics to tell them what to do. This is huge. This is absolutely big. Because once Jacobs realizes how powerful Foundry and Palantir are in providing software platform enabling solutions for them in just their water provisions, what else are they going to roll it out in? Jacobs are huge. They do intelligence, they do water, they do infrastructure, renewable energy, and they do discovery and mobility. Holy Jesus, that's basically all of the world's toughest problems in one umbrella corporation. This is the future, where if they dominate, this partnership could be big in the future moving forwards.
You have to be engaged in something for us to prevent it. So pre-preventing things, which by the way is technically feasible, and you will find now in Western countries, or if you talk to people there, thinking it's also ethical.
To summarize, with Cathie Wood and Ark Invest totally selling out of Palantir, it may actually be a blessing in disguise. Well, at least the new ETF, SARK, won't be able to inadvertently short Palantir by shorting Ark Invest. Well, no matter how ridiculous that is, it's looking like it's gonna happen. So, moving forward, this new partnership with Jacobs is something that I'm very much looking forward to receiving new updates and news, and even expansions of their partnership moving forward. I am seriously bullish on Palantir stock this year, given the current problems around the world, whether it's war, inflation, rate hikes, or anything else. else that you can think of, Palantir has the use case moving forwards. So please take this drill with precaution and do your own DD before investing in any stock. If you enjoyed this video and found it informative, please do me a simple favor and consider to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.